Good morning. Today we are going to do a Monet project, and Monet is an impressionist artist. He was our artist of the month, and he loved flowers, loved outdoors, created his own pond. He has a picture which we talked about, has his bridge. I don't have it to show you though. So what we're doing today is we're going to do a flower. But before we do the flower, what you're going to do is you're going to get to take a piece of paper that looks like this, a 9 by 12, and you're going to use a sponge brush. Now, a sponge brush, it's big, and we're going to use watercolors, and I'm going to have a video that I'm going to show you to do that, but this is the second step. So you're going to create a paper that looks like this, because you use the tiny little strokes is like the impressionism strokes of like Claude Monet, and you're going to fill this up. So you've come back, you already had your name on it from before, and you have it all filled in. Now what you're going to do is you're going to look at this sheet, and we're going to practice drawing these first. After we paint this, we're going to draw some flowers. And if you look at the shapes, we're always talking about shapes when you're drawing. This is just a circle. So we know how to draw a circle. We've practiced a circle. So you have a circle, and then to make a petal is like a loop or an oval. Remember we talked about how you make a circle and you go, you stretch it, and it's overlapping. So that being said, we're going to use oil pastels, and we used them before. And remember, they're kind of smeary, they're kind of messy. If you need to get a scrap piece of paper and set it over, see how this already has something on it, while you're working, you can. We've already practiced drawing how to do a flower. Like I said, that was on the video before. So you decide if you want your flower like this, if you want your flower like this. And the first thing that you do is you draw a circle. So I think I'm going to have my flower like this, maybe. And I put my circle, and kind of like the size of your thumb is how big you want it. And I put my circle in the center, and I'm only tracing with black right now. So there's my circle. Now after I do my circle, so I'm waiting for everybody to do their circle, and help your shoulder buddy, say, do you need any help? And you can't erase oil pastels, so I don't want to do the pencil on here because I like the way it looks. And we're using black. So now I'm going to do my petal, and if I look at my first step, and we're going to have this sitting right next to us so we can remember, then I just have a petal. So watch me draw my petal, and then you get to do the same thing. Now you can decide how big you want your petal. So there's my one petal. After that, I overlap. Now when you overlap, what that means is I already have this petal here. I can just do another loop and not even have to draw the rest of it. And then I'm just going to work my way around. You see I'm turning my paper? So now I have another loop. And I just keep going, and mine are getting bigger, which is fine. So I have my loop going all the way around. And keep going again. And then look, is my flower done? I'm like, no, Mrs. Milligan, we need one more, maybe two. So I'm going to do another loop, and there's my flower. Now, if you want to, you can draw a stem, or what you can do, and I'm not going to fill this in because I want to show you the technique that we're going to use for the Impressionism. But you can have it all be flowers, or you can have a stem, which we already talked about how to draw a flower. And you get to choose what colors you want. Now, with the Impressionism work, it's teeny tiny little strokes. So if you have your blank piece of paper and you need to set it on top of it so you don't smear it on there, this is how we're going to work on the center. I think my center will be purple. And Monet is known for the tiny little strokes. This is hard to do while you have it up in the air. So watch, I'm picking up my oil pastel, and I'm just doing tiny little strokes. Hopefully you can see that better. Just tiny little strokes. And that is called, that's what the Impressionisms did. They just did tiny little strokes. Now do you see how I'm staying in the circle? I stayed in the circle. If you want to take another color and go add some red in there, oh, I like Mrs. Milligan likes red and purple, so you could do that. So it's going to take a little bit of time, so then I choose another color, and they're going to look different because your background is blue. Because he did a lot of water scenes. Now if I touch that black, you see that little bit of black that got on there? That's okay. I remember these smear a little bit, so we need to be careful. If it's dirty, you can take your scrap paper, remember I showed you before, and just rub it on its edge. Okay, see how I've got some on my hands? It's okay, it's art class, we can clean them. So then I'm just taking tiny little strokes Listen, can you hear it? I'm not pounding. I don't have my fist, but I'm just tiny little strokes. And you're going to fill in your flower. Because he loved flowers. Remember, we're talking about the artist Monet. Now, here's another option. Like I said, remember, you could do a leaf. And a leaf, and we're going to talk about that, is kind of like a triangle with a point. So there's my leaf. Maybe you have lines that you add in here, or you could have a stem. Maybe I have my stem, which kind of looks like a straw. And then the same thing. We have two different types of green. So you could do your, just remember, we cannot color with these. We have to use the little impressionism strokes. So here I am. So there's my light green. And you can share with the person next to you. And, oh, I like, look at this, dark green. See how it has that kind of blends together, kind of looks like it's shading. Maybe in my pink, I want to go back in, I want to add some red. Now, if you add white, and you could actually use white on this, it'll show up because we have a blue background. See, there's the pink and the red, and the white will, oh, it'll make it lighter. Okay, so that's what you're going to do today. First, we've already done that. We showed the video on how to paint this background using the sponge brush with the watercolors, just dabbing little bits, and it'll fill in. Then we'll let this dry. Then we're going to practice. Remember, we've already practiced this, but I'm just telling you again. We practice drawing our flowers, and then we go right on here. We don't use a pencil. We go right to the oil pastels. I cannot wait to see what your flowers look like.